Hi, and welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is a V-steg day, and so we've got our buddy Skullcap SaVant joining us. If you saw Melania in her beautiful absinthe green gown, you know it is go time. And we're of course heading into a Wicked 2 theater launch weekend, and also the anniversary of JFK's assassination attempt. So we'll kind of roll into that and let you guys know where we go from there. Let us know what you think. Give us a like, share the video, and jump in the live chat if you're watching now. If you're watching later, give us a comment and let us know your thoughts. We'll be right back with Ben, Skullcap SaVant, right after this. Welcome back, Ben. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
to be back for another wonderful installment of Decoding Reality.
Is it reality or
the illusion? Sorry.
Yeah.
Decoding how the illusion tricks us into thinking it's reality. You're right.
Which part of this is reality? I don't know. I guess it's how much you participate, what you choose. You choose your own adventure, like we always say. So I do not know where we even want to start with all this stuff. I know I was really going down the Wicked path with a new movie coming out to theaters this weekend. And then today, ba-boom, Ariana Grande gets the COVID.
Well, perhaps we should put some bookends on just the week of events, because it seems like it's been all packed together in a sequential form that kind of paints the tapestry that way.
Okay.
Coupling together key events that happened this week, like the Epstein file vote that passed 17th and the 18th in consecutive days from the House to the Senate, like we talked about before the show, and then some other things that happen on either the 17th, 18th, or 19th, or now today, the 20th, kind of the ostensible work week, let's say, for this week. There was another V-steg related moment that happened in the comic realm. We didn't talk about this beforehand, but November 19th, yesterday, Batman Deadpool released their crossover comic. And everyone that's watched my stuff that goes back to 24 and summer of 24 and the facsimile of the Deadpool Wolverine movie, that was an allegory for the Wizard of Oz. It was even like right on the face of it when he's mentioning it in the movie. And so Deadpool becomes like this weird sigil all the way since the Super Bowl of last year that I connected the dots with to the Wizard of Oz key events, which you already mentioned. Wicked here on the 21st, tomorrow.
Right.
Clearly an Oz redux.
Yeah.
Wicked 2, which has never been, as far as I know, popularized into a Broadway play. This is something of a new thing that they're doing with this sequel. And so Deadpool crosses paths with Batman, the biggest V-steg comic figure of all of them. If you go back to my traditional work, I show how the psychology of Batman is at play with how the V-steg kind of works. Like there's a battle for the mind that Batman's always in psychologically with his villains. It was really at the heart of it. It outlines his stories encapsulate how mind control operates. That's as basically as I can reduce it down, and the V-steg's all over it because of that, right? And Batman's constantly having to overcome the mind control spell, but he's just a human.
Well, and Sean brought up a great point this morning on WBRT. He was watching the Chase Hughes interview, I guess it must have been on Sean Ryan. I think a lot of people watched it. He was on Joe Rogan as well.
That's the CIA guy, Chase Hughes, right? The guy that Ryan just interviewed like last week.
that Sean, yes, he's the PSYOP guy, you know, the mind control guy. And he said, if you cannot ask a question, if you are not allowed to ask a question about something, you can guarantee that you are in a PSYOP. And we all know what you can't ask a question about, you know, right now. One more thing, when you're talking about the comic book, and I wonder if you think any of this ties in. I know there's a Superman kryptonite thing. Kryptonite is green and all that. So maybe that's a tie-in, but I wonder what your thoughts are. I was taking Mom back from the doctor today, and I heard that the original Superman comic just sold for like $9 million or something in pristine condition.
That's crazy, because I remember even like 15 years ago, the record on that Action Comics #1 was like 700 something thousand. So
yeah, it was like $9 million.
Comic market's going crazy. The baseball card market's going crazy too, not to that extent, but the comic market is. Weird. There's something about, of course, DC. This requires deeper summaries of my work. I've given you, you know, my stuff. I don't know if you've watched the cooperative ones from the early years.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
But you know, this DC Comics, Washington DC Parasite Network thing that I call and identify, you know, the ley line network plus all of the stuff in the air that transduces into it. There's mechanical structure to the mind control too, and there's a psychological aspect with symbolism and idea transfer in memes that locks in behavior patterns. And the fact that we've got this here, where Deadpool crosses with Batman. The weird thing is I've told you that Deadpool, Wolverine, and we went through that whole Wolverine story arc over the summer with the Intrepid Museum and the 88 steganograph, the time numerology that we had put onto it. Yeah, like as everybody can see, those last 7 videos that I did, that's kind of a sequential series, an adjunct that I did at the end of the Biden administration to show how the transfer of the mind control system was happening from the masked fake presidency, and how time as a concept was diluted or manipulated through those last 4 years for everybody to kind of buy it, but it was necessary to awake from the spell. Time is something that I need to speak more on, and what I have investigated with it, with Itzhak Bentov's work and the Understanding Time Phenomenon series. You know, I'm wondering if I should even go get it, because it might get us off on a tangent. But the whole idea that time can be facilitated on the mind, I think, through these apparatuses like symbolism and frequency control and cymatics.
I think that's why they pray to the black box. That is the 4D.
Well, and it's also, the
fourth dimension is time.
And it's also Saturn that is the chronological Chronos, the chronology keeper.
Right.
Saturn is the time dilator, right? Like that's why the rings playing a part in all of this is just such a weird aspect to consider. But hold on just a second. At very least, you can look at the weirdness. Remember, Deadpool, Batman.
Hold on, I'm trying to drag you over.
It's fine. Remember the Deadpool Batman crossover? I went and got a bunch of these. Remember the V-steg we saw on this one?
Yeah.
The V right in the middle. And it was significant because of the Intrepid numerology, 88 time. Time is 88, 2 anonymas in the sky. If you sit in the same point for 28 days and trace the same spot of the sky, the moon makes a figure 8. It's called an anonyma. It's just how the movement of its orbit is perceived to us standing in one fixed spot on the Earth. The same can be said for the sun. if you expand that time horizon out to 365 days, to a whole year, it also makes a figure 8. The passage of time, how you measure it, the sun and the moon.
Mhm.
That's why you find the 88 marker numerology on the spell casting, where they're trying to manipulate whatever around your mind related to time. And these Deadpool Batman comics, it's a different story. If you notice, Marvel is listed first, DC is second. These came out in September. The Batman Deadpool just came out this week. It's where Batman is reversed. So it's Batman Deadpool, different stories. Where DC is the primary publisher and Marvel is the secondary publisher.
Okay.
So and we talked about this. Wolverine is significant to this too, because obviously there he is. He's in one of the side stories that they did for this one.
That's kind of on the new Wicked, they're showing the above and below. Like there's this song called No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. And then the monkeys are flying around and she's standing upside down and the world is above her. So it's that mirror, think mirror above, so below, whatever.
The lambda and the V too, because that's, well, the above and below markers with the lambda and the V is denotated that way within the steganography context, where that's exactly, I think what's happening in a lot of ways is you got the polarity shift for what's coming in from above into the noggin and representing it instead as material, earthly. And we go into the mechanics again of the V-steg some other time, deeper. Yeah. I'd like to do that with you actually, to have like a better series around that once we can talk about you and I on the same exact page on those mechanics videos. But for the sake of argument, sticking with the coincidental aspects of these things, because this is what people kind of get off on. This is the other amalgam comic. The last, I pointed to this in the past, amalgam comics. This is the first time that DC and Marvel collaborated. It was like 1996. And they did another mashup at the time where they combined Wolverine and Batman into the same character called Dark Claw. So there's Dark Claw, a couple representations, a couple of different variant covers. And everybody remember, this is the comic series that the Intrepid Museum ritual was based around, the very original Wolverine comic.
Have you seen Hegseth's chops lately?
Yeah, he kind of looks like Wolverine, doesn't he? That's
a little Wolverine, and that's very unmilitary.
Yeah, everybody's talking. She's talking about the Wolverine's mutton chops on his beard. Might be a call to that. It could be.
Could be.
But remember, there's something going on with the time ritual. And John F. Kennedy's watch, everybody, the Intrepid watch from Timex, tied this all together. We had some helicopter crashes tied together. Some of my videos from that time in 24 with some of the age of Leo being awakened into us, into the actual knowledge of things. It's not the age of Aquarius. We'd have our time perspective shifted like 180 degrees. Everybody thinks we're going to the age of Aquarius because of a lot of these spells, I think. And it's really the age of Leo, for the reason that the Vedic calendar's new year is the autumnal equinox, not the vernal equinox, as it is measured now. So it's 180 degrees opposite perspective. That's how you reconcile that. But anyway, we have the Oz thing like right in center. Like we are Wicked 2. We have the Dark Claw from 1996 Wolverine Batman crossover, but now he's crossed over into this new thing. Instead of being Dark Claw, just a second. There's this other thing now called Dead Bat.
What is it called? Dead what?
Dead Bat.
Bat.
Here it is. So I don't yet have these comics. I ordered a bunch of them. They came out technically the other day, but I haven't gotten my hands on these myself. So here, I'm just going to save this image. This is something that somebody else found on me or posted on like a how do you say, a spoiler site. Just a second here. Too many ads. Go to your computer. Look up Dead Bat. Just go Dead Bat, Batman, Deadpool. It'll be quicker than this.
Okay. And do images?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what you think of that.
So if you just go to Dead Bat, Batman, Deadpool. So go to the Deadpool.
Okay. Dead Bat, Batman.
Okay. And then maybe go back to the web search first, I guess, because that was the exact thing I pointed at. So we'll just go back, scroll to the web search, and if we don't find it, I got to apologize to the viewers. Just go to all. Yeah, there it is. Go to that link in the top, that first link. We'll find it in there. It's weird why it didn't come up in the image search. So just scroll down. They should have a representation of this character, Dead Bat. If you scroll all the way through, just keep going until.
And it's saying Doomsday.
That's a different. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a different character. That's in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
I'm not going too much into that, but keep scrolling. These are the covers. Here we go. Here's the cells. So click on that tweet and take a look at some of the characters that we're dealing with. So we've got Batman, Deadpool, and the Black Swan there. Ooh, that's an interesting one too. Yeah, because in the last one, I told you August 8th was in there in the Deadpool Batman comic. A few episodes back, we decoded these, and it was interesting about the August 8th, 88. Batman was mentioning this in this astrology spell that was happening. Why, he and Deadpool were teaming up essentially. So there's one image. But scroll through these images in the post.
Okay, hold on.
I want people to see the amalgam thing mostly. So keep going.
Well, it was amalgam was over the up here on this top.
That's like
right there.
There's a call under for the amalgam comics.
And this says the Florida Keys, and just as a picture of Florida.
Oh,
Keys.
You're right. So there's the Florida Keys. You see Superman up there too, fighting Deadpool, and Catwoman's on there. So there's a lot going on. This is all very purposefully placed scene.
Smashing Superman.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Reminds me of the Labyrinth of the Court of Owls. There's a Court of Owls thing. Anyway, we don't need to pick apart the plot yet because I don't have the comics. We'll do that next time. Just look through the symbolism here. Go through. There's the 10 Fingers chick there's a different comic that Batman has recently been released with a Ram V as the author. Ram V. It's his last name V. The V-steg. That is in that storyline with this character is immense. So again, don't know how that's going to show up within the context of this when I actually read it. But right here, we seem to have Darkclaw. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So there's Darkclaw. There's the Wolverine Batman crossover. Darkclaw's included in there for some reason. This character right here. And the other amalgam one. Why is Wolverine yet again crossing over? And then there is the new one. There's Dead Bat. So there's the crossover of the combination of Deadpool and Batman. The reason why a lot of this stuff matters, I think, it's the multiverse stuff that both the DC and Marvel comic universes have been ingraining in people's minds. Is that you don't need to. I think one of the big mind control initiatives is that the reason the multiverse thing is so effective, why the V-steg's apparent, because they're locking it in this way, is because they don't want anybody to think in their daily lives that they need to go try anything differently than they are. They're in the groove that they're in. They can't do anything differently because the multiverse exists. And that's where all of your other versions of yourself are doing the other things that could be done. There's no other possibility for you, though. That's this in this universe, you know. The narrative of this kind of multiverse spell, I think, separates the consciousness of the person from the uniqueness of the soul. You know, it makes it to where, oh well, I'm just this vessel just carrying out these acts unbeknownst to any of my higher self's plans or anything like that, or however you want to say your higher consciousness. And my impulses for creativity and all this other shit, they're just going to be channeled into what I'm doing because this is what I'm destined for. And the multiverse thing, as subtle as it is, I think maybe has a tendency to have a psychological effect in the spellcasting sense. It's my theory, what's going on here. But there's your comic tie-in. There's going to be something, remember everybody, the multiversity, right? The V-steg in the middle. Still got to bring this in with Lisa's insights on the Yellow Jacket piece from this last summer too, because that's
and then that was a military electronic messaging group.
Yeah,
something to do with electric, and I stumbled across that completely. But yeah, there was a lot of comms being pushed around about the Yellow Jackets.
You're saying my microphone's not very good here.
Yeah, Charlie says your microphone is a little. I wonder if it's picking up on a different.
Yeah, well, the power went out, so
there you go.
Yeah, sorry everybody.
That's way better.
My good mic was not channeled appropriately. The power went out here pretty consistently over the last week, and things got a little bit jacked up on the settings.
There you
go. My apologies.
No.
I hope everything was still legibly clear enough through all of that to where it wasn't too irritating, but hopefully that helps.
I can hear you.
You could hear me okay though? Like
yeah, I think
even before
it's just not as good as
yeah. So anyway, so there you go. The comic tie-in is amidst all this Oz nonsense in the politic realm, in the Epstein list realm, the Wicked 2 coming out this week, and
also Flotus's dress at the Saudi Arabia dinner.
Yeah, show us the picture that.
So they literally called it an absinthe green on the Flotus report.
Yeah.
They said an absinthe green. No, where is it? Oh, it's an old one. I guess that is it. Where did it just
go?
So
what was the significance of the event that she was at?
So the Saudi king came, and when Trump was speaking, someone else brought this up and was saying that, did I get thrown off the Flotus report? What's happening? That if you look at the thing, there's no presidential seal. It's just a gold eagle that Trump is speaking at this podium. And, you're not allowed to touch the king. And, of course, Trump touches the king. Why is
everybody loses their shit again because, oh, my God, he broke the protocol.
Okay. Yeah. And so this is interesting because when I saw it originally, it said and now it says emerald gown. Because from this same account, Flotus report, I sent it to several people, but it said absinthe green a few days ago, which is absinthe is made or derived from wormwood, which is the stuff that causes people to hallucinate. Talking about, you know, are we all in a psyop or the mind control stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
So very interesting that now it's been changed back to say in an emerald gown.
So Emerald City cues, right?
Yeah.
I just posted. So bring up the Zero Hedge link that I just posted in there.
Okay.
Also
green for go. There were green booms that set up
the same week.
tree.
The same week that all this is occurring, you know, we have, remember everybody, the Mariners and the Emerald City, Brian Wu. The Wu was kept secret for a little while longer with all that ritual. And then you get this stuff. Trump threatens to cancel the World Cup in Seattle, which is, again, the Emerald City. And if anybody needs some recollection from earlier in this year, there was much to do about the World Cup's trophy as a fixture in the Oval Office. Like, I think it still sits there to this day, to be honest with you. And it lined up a lot with these helicopter crash tragedies that were happening in the Hudson River. I don't know if anybody remembers this, the Siemens CEO that died. And the connection was that his wife, who also died in the crash, was the wife of one of, I think it was Spain's FIFA team, the World Cup team. And so she dying in this kind of ritualized way in the Hudson River, alongside Trump also brandishing the World Cup trophy everywhere. Here it was. This was early April. And this was right at the time when we were catching on to the Wolverine stuff with the Intrepid Museum, because remember, the crash in the Hudson River had a lot to do with the location specificity of us finding the Intrepid Museum on Pier 88. And so what's going on with the redesign of the FIFA trophy? What's going on with the big, remember the big statue?
Yes.
It was erected the day before the helicopter crash, and it pointing to the bay. Here, I can even, if it would appease the audience, get some of these photos tossed back up here. Here, I'll post a couple of these in our chat here, Lisa. But everybody, just so they have some context.
This YouTube that you want me to post on?
No, remember, it's down the little bottom part. Remember the present area down there?
Oh, sorry. You're not sharing a link there. You're down here. Okay.
No, I give them to you so you can just pop them up. So there's
just a minute. There we go. Okay, here was this was the Intrepid, the shush.
That's the statue that's erected facing the Hudson River, facing the crash site of the helicopter where the Siemens CEO and the FIFA wife crashed. That same week, Trump's talking about,
there were children on board that,
and their children were on board, allegedly. Yeah, that was part of this whole thing. And it's the same week Trump unveils this whole thing with the trophy. If this is coming back to you, right?
Yeah.
And remember this right here, I'll toss up there. Same spot. Here you go. Here was the route. Oops, nope, that's the wrong file. It's the same. That's a duplicate of the same one.
That's okay.
There you go. Try that one. That's the graphic. So there's the route that it took in the Hudson River. There's the crash site in the circle where the statue is facing. Everybody should just go back in the annals if they didn't see this episode that Lisa and I did to refamiliarize yourself with some of this stuff. But there's a key thing that was happening with the hands on the museum. We're talking about what you actually see when you go into the Intrepid Museum, why all this is kind of occurring at that time. And it was all brought on too by this weird numerology that we put in. Remember this, Lisa, the Wolverine video of him breathing. I just posted that in the link.
Okay.
So everybody go back to April of this year. And where are we at now? We're 7 months onward, basically, right? So what do you see 7 months on from this, Lisa, as we're piecing these things together? Where
are you talking about this week?
We're looking at this week. We've got all the beats in the comic stuff. We've got these, but what I'm trying to paint a picture for is the comic beats are similar. The crossover with Wolverine, Oz, Deadpool, Batman, right? Let's just keep it there on that thread, and the time ritual that's involved with that. Speculate how you will on how they're using that.
And we just had the time change.
Which
are things
right. Maybe the last one we'll ever have, because daylight savings time is over, kind of a thing. Right. We've got the FIFA trophy, which is another artifact tying us to that time. And it's resurfacing this week with the threat that the World Cup, where that trophy is won, won't be held in Seattle, the Emerald City. Melania is wearing the emerald dress. Yeah. We have the Epstein file voting that happened this week. I'm back in April. That was when they were trying to suppress it. That was when the original vote was supposed to be happening to bring it all out, and Pam Bondi slammed the door out. Remember? Yeah. So what's the significance? Do you think it seems like it's all lining up?
But did you see who she put over the prosecutor or the attorney over the Epstein case coming out? Is Jay Clayton.
No,
of all people.
Did that for.
So Jay Clayton is who, like, Gary Gensler gets a bad rap. I mean, not that he's a hands-free, because he signed the checks for Hillary. We all know that.
Yeah.
And the Russia thing.
Yeah.
But Jay Clayton is who actually went after all the crypto people, went after Dragon Chain, went after Reggie.
Yeah, he's crypto dad. He's crypto dad is what they call him, because famously, my daughter wanted to get into Bitcoin, so I needed to regulate it because my daughter needs a safe investment vehicle or some shit like that.
I had not heard that story. That's awful.
Well, Bix talks about him sometimes in that facet, like back in 2017 when we were really at a pivotal point with the regulation side of stuff. I mean, I was there. I was in the industry. I was at the center of it, and in the regulation space for fintech and crypto. And he's now back into the scene in this way.
Yes. And now he's going to
preside over, as a financial guy, the Epstein files.
Well, and I brought this up this morning on WBRT. There's another case right now going on where they are just crucifying Tornado Cash. And Tornado Cash is like a way to send or exchange, funds, whatever. And they're saying because it was associated with this illicit, bad things, then Tornado Cash should be responsible for that. And they're just destroying them. Well, you could say the same thing, because we had this, argument this morning. The funds that came in for not just, there was investing going on. There was all kinds of things happening with the Epstein stuff. It's like the Zorro Ranch thing is just one piece of it. And the Epstein Island thing is just one piece of it. But they were coming in and doing all kinds of deals. And that was all funds that were going through, like JP Morgan Chase, and was one of the biggest banks that handled Epstein's accounts. So why weren't there SARS reports on all those funds, or were there? And why is the Fed note not being looked at as an evil monster. The way they look at crypto, they try to, vilify crypto as, oh, it's dark money that does these bad things. But, the dirty fiat has historically has done horrible things. So it's the tool, it's just very interesting to me that they would then have Jay Clayton be the point person.
Well, and you also have Larry Summers this week. You've got some financial guys that are connected to all this stuff, decoupling and being assigned to the tapestry of this. Like something financial, I think, is about to happen. Larry Summers exiting his positions as chairman of OpenAI. He's also basically putting himself into hiding at the same time, and trying to distance himself from the communication that happened as him being one of the main new, let's call it on the main list of new accusees for the Epstein crimes,
right,
at large, whatever they may be. Everybody knows what they are, but it's he's the new mention, and all of a sudden there he goes. This seems like odd timing with the AI trade seemingly unwinding too. This is one of the other moments this week that we were discussing. Amidst all the other headline stuff that's going on today, the 20th, we might have the markets starting to factor in the reality that the valuations that the AI trade has been given is all just the same money pool being used for all the companies. So if anybody's not aware of what happened today, there's a big V-steg marker with NVIDIA being, what did they announced their earnings at 55 billion. So there's your key. There's one of those V-steg numbers. Yeah. 555s, or even like 25 and 52, both used in conjunction with each other. They're the palindromes. The reason is, guys, is because 5.2 feet is a pace, the average left and right foot of a person. It's one of these sacred megalithic numbers, 5.2 feet. So when you reverse that in numerology and you get 25, which is also 5 times 5, when you factorialize it, 5 times 5 is 25. Then you got 52 feet. They're the reverse aspects of each other. This is the way some of the magic works when they're throwing these specific numbers at you. You wonder why they pop up. Specific ones are there for a reason, it seems. And so for this, the 55 billion in earnings is awfully convenient with what happened in the market. They came unglued. NVIDIA, in the rise up for today's earnings, in the expectation, nobody knew what the value, what its earnings report was going to be. There were speculations on how far they were going to beat it, but 55 billion seemed to sustain the market rise of 400. They gained 450 billion in market cap just overnight when the speculation began yesterday. The announcement gets made. That seems to sustain the trade for a while, and then the trade drops off the floor. And all day, the market's ripped apart after that because everything's tied to the NVIDIA earnings session today. In a lot of ways, we'll figure out tomorrow. But 450 billion is now gone, and we've ended where they start tomorrow with the trading day is probably going to gap down. They ended it about where they started. 450 billion up, 450 billion down. And with that, you got a $900 billion swing if you can do basic math. That's unheard of. That's never fucking happened before. Where, weirdly, what about that 55 billion number is making people rethink everything, right? Well, just a second. Let me pull some stuff up. The top 2 posts in the chat, actually, Lisa, I already teed them up. The very first 2 that we put up there.
Okay.
From the Kim.com ones that he was reposting.
In our private. Okay.
Yeah, in the private chat.
this is the NVIDIA thing. And this doesn't even mention the Brock Pierce thing and the...
No, that was going to rely on you to bring that stuff up actually after this, because we talked about in the pre-show, I think that's probably connected to this too. So this is just kind of an overlay to the viewers watching right now. The what? If you're not aware of what happened today, here's what to pay attention to in the days to come, because I think today was pretty key as far as the let's say the peak goes. Maybe today was the peak of the AI trade.
And then tomorrow, where I thought I was just sharing it. Why did it not?
JB Rance is talking about, of course, what's underneath all this stuff. Lisa and I on the show today, we have to point stuff out, in our opinion, about how this all works, about how the spell layer is over the top of the minds of humanity so that they don't see it. Specifically, that's what we're speaking to. We're on the same side with uncovering those that abuse kids, but there are layers to this, and this layer actually does matter, because this is the perception layer that she and I decode and pick apart. There's a method by which there's a reason why humanity hasn't come about these findings naturally yet, because there are systems in place that prevent it, and they're psychological in nature. So that's what we're discussing, JB Rance. I'm on the same side as you, but that's this aspect. So the Pizzagate stuff is tied to the financial stuff this week too, in a couple of ways. We haven't gotten to that, but so this is the tweet, right? So read this. Just read this through for the audience. It's good context. This was retweeted by Kim.com today. Kim.com's back on X, guys, and I think he's right in line with what's going on. So anyway.
So they're talking about a $610 billion AI Ponzi scheme just collapsed. Last night, something unprecedented happened. NVIDIA stock rallied 5% on earnings, then crashed into negative territory within 8 hours. Wall Street algorithms detected what humans couldn't. The numbers don't add up. And here's what they found. So NVIDIA reported $33.4 billion in unpaid bills, up to 89% in 1 year. Customers who bought chips haven't paid for them yet.
There you go.
Yeah. The average wait time for payment stretched from 46 days to 53 days. That extra week represents $10.4 billion that may never arrive. So what this makes me think of is when Joe was talking this morning about how in the old days, the Bitcoin miners, they'd have people order them, and then while the calculation or the algorithm was hot, they would be using this Bitcoin miner, and then right as it kind of dipped off, then they'd ship those. And so by the time you got the Bitcoin miner that you ordered 2 weeks later, you were already not profitable, because the place that was building them was gaining all the profit out of them. Which something like that could be happening allegedly with chips. I don't know.
I bet you it is. I bet you there's little side scams like that everywhere right now with this shit.
So it says, meanwhile, NVIDIA stockpiled 19.8 billion unsold chips, and 32% in 3 months. The management claims the demand is insane and supply is constrained, but both cannot be true. Either customers aren't buying, or they're buying without cash.
Which means they're just getting product for free on a promissory note, an IOU. They're buying without cash, but they still have to deliver on the promise that the money will come. That's what they're saying up top. If you go up top,
here they're saying
the payment stretch from 46.
Yeah, but the payment stretch.
It's called invoice factoring. If they're actually backing the promise to send the good or service by way of an interest. But I don't think invoice factoring is even occurring here. I think it's literally an IOU situation where it's not on the books anywhere. That's why you don't even see invoice factoring.
You can even put it on there,
because they're just they have to keep the musical chairs flowing through the system. Keep reading.
So cash flow tells a real story. NVIDIA generated $14.5 billion in actual cash, but reported $19.3 billion in profit. The gap is $4.8 billion. Healthy chip companies like TSMC and AMD convert over 95% of profits to cash. NVIDIA converts 75. That's distress level.
So pick apart what that just said, right? So the net 95 to 75 reduction, that 20% gap, what do you think that represents?
Not received invoices.
You got it. That's the difference maker. Because if they had those invoices paid for up front and they had the 95 to convert back, they would.
Right. They would.
They're not able to. They're maximizing. What this tells you is they're still maximizing their expenditures to convert profits back to cash, but they're not able to. Where's that extra 20%? That's the question.
This is the derivative bubble being popped, though, don't you think?
This is a big nuke that's probably going to fracture it hugely. That's kind of what I'm speculating on here. This leads to exchange contagion, which leads to exchange collapse, because Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini, they all use the pooled exchange model just like this. This is the pooled exchange model, just with the AI trade, guys. This is kind of what this is.
AI chips. Yeah.
So you see here a couple other statistics. NVIDIA gave $2 billion to XAI. Read this. This is the circular accounting. The next part here is the circular accounting.
I said this is where it gets criminal. So NVIDIA gave $2 billion to XAI. XAI, then they're all playing telephone. So then XAI borrowed $12.5 billion to buy NVIDIA chips. And Microsoft gave OpenAI $13 billion. And OpenAI committed $50 billion to buy Microsoft Cloud. Microsoft ordered $100 billion in NVIDIA chips for that cloud. And Oracle gave OpenAI $300 billion in cloud credits. OpenAI ordered NVIDIA chips for Oracle data centers.
Now, there's where it all breaks down. Those $300 billion in cloud credits.
Yeah, that's
for what? For capacity that doesn't even exist yet. You're first of all, you're just circle jerking. There are two things going on here. The laundering aspect of the valuations is going through the roof when there's $300 billion in cloud credits. That's part of the debiting process and all of this. Are you shitting me? This is these are just like made up credits for data center compute capacity that hasn't even been built yet. And it's part of the expected expense that's adding to the capacity and all of this. Like, look at this. Like NVIDIA gives XAI $2 billion, right? XAI borrows $12.5 billion from NVIDIA. So NVIDIA got $2 billion of its own money back.
Right.
But $10 billion of which is supposed to be the actual buy rate. It's about 20%. It's a little bit less than 20%. But do you see there you're giving and then giving back, and there's your 20%. It's about that same differential with all these companies. It's like they're lurching forward to give 20% down payment and then receiving goods and services back in the other 80%. And then they're just going on to the next entity that's part of the AI industry. What's the backbone that they're using on all this, right? So here's what's fucking crazy. Keep reading, because you're seeing what's happening now in the market. This is part of the reason why NVIDIA crashed today, I suspect. The AI companies are selling, and the executives therein are selling their own stakes. Even SoftBank dumped $5.8 billion on November 8th or November 11th. Peter Thiel sold $100 million in NVIDIA on November 9th. Michael Burry, he's been making the news. Michael Burry's the Big Short guy. But puts on NVIDIA crash starting in March 2026. Now everybody thinks he's a crackpot because he was talking about the game stonk thing not being able to ever repeat itself and all this stuff. It's just a marker. So we have a lot of things now, like I told you in the pre-show also, with these companies holding actual collateral in the form of cryptos, Bitcoin et al., right? And you're seeing cryptos sell off at the same time because these companies, I suspect, these AI trade companies are having to liquidate whatever positions they're in right now, sell those back on the market, including crypto holdings, just in order to satisfy the gaps that are showing in the trade, in the rehypothecated situation that they're in. So
well, I mean, that's what this week, Michael Saylor posted a picture of himself on a life raft in the Titanic going down behind him. And then there were several people who brought up CZ's old tweet, which, well, here's the Michael Saylor one. Hold on, I'll share it with you really quick so you guys can see. And that triggered, okay, JB, you're done with the name calling and everything else. Nice.
JB Rance thinks he's tough shit, doesn't he?
He knows everything, and he's just being a total ass tonight. So, goodbye. Well,
if you'd just be patient and look at how all this stuff plays out, you'd see what the fucking point is. But
abuse. I'm not going to let people call people names and be abusive in the comments. That's not okay. Anyway, on to better things. So, this was the image Michael Saylor posted on November 14th. And then that was putting, triggering people to do this CZ Binance tweet, which was back from 22, which said, when the Titanic sinks, little floats near it get dragged down too.
Right.
But the floats will eventually come back up if they are untethered.
They're untethered.
Now, if you go into the whole tether thing, Brock Pierce, of course, is involved with that project. And
there you go, JB Rance. We got back around to your saving the kids theme with the Brock Pierce inclusion here.
Yeah, anybody that accuses me of not caring about children, you can just F all the way off.
It's just funny, you know.
Anyway, yeah, I don't care. I'm not gonna entertain that abuse. Okay, now I can't find the tweet. Sorry.
Okay. Paraphrase
anyway,
it.
They went into the stories about where is it? No, the what's his name? We were just talking about Summers and
Larry Summers. Larry Summers, Sam Altman.
Yeah, well,
Peter
and
Thiel.
Epstein. Now there's stuff coming out that Epstein supposedly helped fund or start some of these projects, and
yeah. Palantir is a result of the Promise Network that Bear Stearns funded when Epstein started there in 1982. It all goes back to the Promise Network, and this is not something that'll derail us to talk about Promise, right? PROMIS, but it's very old. It's very connected to J.P. Morgan, Bear Stearns, Epstein, CIA, Mossad, all the way back to the late 70s and early 80s. And Brock Pierce, Mark Collins Rector, and the pedophilia media that makes everything click behind the scenes with all this.
And so if that goes to, it was just interesting to me that CZ Binance got a pardon recently from Trump, and then all of this kind of stuff, and then for Saylor to post that image talking about Titanic going down. And of course, you know, we've been road to Ruta theory, get rid of the derivatives, you know, and that the system has to crash. And to do that, I mean, it would take down the little floats with it. But if they are untethered, if they don't have derivatives, if actually great projects that are proof of work and have value in them,
or if you own a Bitcoin simply that's not an ETF, because that would be a tethered Bitcoin in that sense, then which is to say you have it in your own possession and all the stuff everyone's been ranting about for 10 years. That's where we all in the space have been speculating. We wouldn't know what it's worth. Bitcoin would drop to 0 at some point because we wouldn't know. And it'd be a weird world for a bit. But it would also mean that this kind of bullshit behind the scenes, if Tether goes, JB rants, that's the biggest deal of it all, because then the pedophile network can't be funded. You do know that, right? Like, that's the plug. The only reason any of this happens in the first place is because there's an incentive to do it. Otherwise, you just think people are going to be forced into their most inclined evil ways. If there wasn't a bribe that got them down that evil path in the first place, it all goes down to money.
Well, and the fact that so many eyes are on this now on both sides of the aisle. And, you know, Cliff Status said the children would bring us together. You know, that it would come right along the side of silver the same time, or maybe that was Jenny talking about the children and the silver at the same time. And that we're kind of seeing all that right now.
Well, it would stand to reason now that we're seeing this play out that crypto would experience this death knell. Oh no. But in the same time, you have the fundamentals of the precious metals actually rising. And that would be the dichotomy of the system that in those reports Cliff famously talked about all those years back, about $600 silver. It just wouldn't really be great. It wouldn't be as good as you guys think it's going to be. It's like, great. Yeah. You think it's going to be awesome and your investments are going to pay off, but you're not going to like the world, the state of the world then. So, you know, we are here right within it though. And Oz is, I don't know what the plot to Wicked 2 is. I don't know what the plot is to this new Batman Deadpool comic is, but I suspect I'll have some more of those answers by next week. We'll have some at least debriefs. I don't know if I'll watch Wicked 2. I didn't watch the first one either. It just doesn't seem like I need to. Not really into it.
Yeah, people really pushed people to not watch it. They said like it was really woke and all this, and like it's not. Yeah. It's no Wizard of Oz. Don't get me wrong.
Well, it's not supposed to be really like that. It's happenstance that it's cast in the land of Oz, you know, or it takes place as it's setting in the land of Oz.
Yeah.
I hope that I don't hope.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
As far as like the absinthe, and I sent a screenshot where it did say absinthe 2 days ago when I sent it to Westwood, because he used to have some absinthe like liqueur in his bar and talked about, and then that's where I first heard about it.
I'm drinking it. It's that deep green color.
Yeah. And the fairy thing and all this. In fact, I had a whole grok write up on it.
Oh.
Well, we don't have to go all the way into that, but I thought it was really interesting. I wonder if I sent that to Mom and Charlie, but it went into, and there was a Q post this week when Trump spoke at, that was the other thing I didn't bring up yet. So Trump spoke at this weird McDonald's thing.
Really?
And he was talking about the fighter pilot things around the 20-minute mark. And he says, beep, beep, bonk. And there is a Q post about beep, beep, bonk and the master computers going off and on or something like that.
Which might be our Oz computers, our secret computers that operate that Bix has been talking about, right? That that the Fed theoretically has, and Alan Greenspan once controlled with the Root A financial operating system. And
yeah, well, the other thing was that Elon posted this weird thing last year. Here, hold on.
Elon PSYOP. Oh, by the way, I think the new PSYOP is Laura Loomer's face. I think Laura Loomer's face is the new popular PSYOP. Changing. Like did you see the coverage of Laura Loomer going over to Israel and all the pomp around it in the first place? But her face just the jawline keeps expanding. She keeps looking more and more like a horse or something.
Well, that poor thing.
I'm telling you, Lisa, it's so far beyond normal now where it's like, it makes me think there's literally a psyop with people getting wrapped up talking about it because everyone is just as shocked, right? What's it? So this is your video here.
Well, and it doesn't have the Elon post now. Now it says the post is unavailable. But
what the Elon post say?
It was about the activation.
Well, let's watch this. Oh,
you know, this doesn't even work either. Ah. They just try to frustrate me. That's okay. It's all right. We're just telling the story. It's just a story. Everybody can.
Well, it's certainly kayfabe. It is, which is certainly a story of some variety. I mean, come on.
Well,
this is
so
why this. There's so much effort to this.
But has
this,
all of this
shit.
I know, but to Jim's point, he says it's always been there. We just see it now. So one of the others,
the steganography specifically is. That's what I pointed out to you. That's why I am passionate about this stuff, because it's been there for a long time, and it seems to have gotten right underneath everyone's perceptive qualities, and it has aided those that have used it in controlling narratives greatly. So, well,
and then so Roseanne just posts this just recently. Think about Oz.
Yes.
That, even though it don't look much like it, things are turning so good. I'm going to try to explain more when I can condense it into brief sentences. But man, things are so good. They're getting so good. Everything's starting to go right and work the right way with no devil ozone. The devil ozone is being removed up there in the penthouse of thought. You're going to see things get real good real quick. Now you just hang on there. You're going to be fine.
I thought that was interesting. Little nod to
especially in the context of what we were talking about last time with the eighth sphere. Remember that lesson?
Mm-hmm.
I think if people remembered the lecture that Lisa and I were talking about last time with Rudolf Steiner, lecture V, it's the name of the lecture.
Yes.
In the eighth sphere was this concept that there's a bubble in the atmosphere that encapsulates both the Earth and the Moon, and the cymatic qualities are different inside that, such that time is maybe experienced out of phase or whatever. All the things that we speculate on. And so maybe she's alluding to the eighth sphere, that maybe that there's some sort of op that's affecting it. I don't know. I don't know where to place Roseanne in all of this, to be quite frank. She seemingly has a lot of weirdly good qualities as it relates to like the freeing of mind. She runs an ibogaine facility, for God's sakes, which is tremendous for healing traumas and psychological issues. But you wonder what you're being programmed with that. I don't know. I don't know what affiliation Roseanne has, other than she's not a fan of Israel. I know that she's no fan of Israel.
It just was a very this was the 8 sphere thing. If you guys didn't see that, that was, I think, the last.
Yeah, scroll down to the image, the next image down, figure 2.
Okay.
There's where that theoretical,
the 8th sphere,
gate,
and so is that the ozone layer?
Is that the devil's ozone she's talking about? Right. That's kind of what I'm wondering is.
Yeah. Just have a question. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting.
What we're going to see is, what do you think we're going to see in the Epstein file release? Do you think it's going to be, like how do you think it's going to go down?
I mean, I wish people would pay more attention to what's happening every day. There's, they just had Operation Charlotte's Web, where they saved a bunch of children in Charlotte. There was also one, maybe in Florida, I can't remember, somewhere where it literally said they rescued like, I don't know, 150 children, not just from the United States.
Yeah.
They had been trafficked out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah,
I'm like, this is on a scale bigger than anyone. It's already happening. But it's just like, oh, little drip here, little drip there. Arizona, my husband says it was from Arizona. Thank you. Yeah. And so it's like, this is incredible that these children are being saved, and that it's not, and the mind numbing is another day. When's the next football game? And so maybe there is the eighth sphere will be removed, and people will wake up and care, and not my friend Greg, if you follow him on Twitter, X, he's Design Heretic. He's the founder of Rivet. And he's on with me with World Blockchain Roundtable. And he just wrote this thing about the adult experience, or the adult, I don't know, something. I put it in the Telegram group. There's a link to the free Telegram group below if you want to jump in there. But, and he's basically talking about humans trying to do what is just a normal thing. Like, I'm a normal human. I'm trying to like place an order for food or get my prescriptions or whatever. But because of all this bureaucracy, people can't even exchange. He says, the receptionist or whatever starts talking to you in these scripted language and says, well, you can't get this filled because even though it's a medication you'd been taking for a long time, because of X, Y, and Z, because of the pharmacist, this and that, and all this bureaucracy getting in the way of just normal human behavior. Like, if a human wants to build a home, well, you have to guess how you're allowed to do that and jump through and ask permission of people that have no authority of you on your own property. It's insane. It's madness that we all comply to it. And it was so funny because right before we got started, I was like, I had seen this quick video about you're gonna have to help me with the name of it. The helpless.
The
syndrome?
helpless.
What's it called? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. The helpless.
Remember, we were talking about it with the kids in the school, and they gave them a test. They give half of here it is. The helplessness experiment.
Oh, learned helplessness is what you're talking about.
Learned helplessness. Yeah. So they're telling them. Hold on.
Again, when you're done, I want to see your hands up. Everybody's hands down. We're going to go ahead and do number 3. For number 3, rearrange the letters, and as soon as you do, go ahead and put your hand up. Here's what you need to know. You were both given 2 different lists. This side of the room was given these 3 words. And left side of the room, here you go. They were given bat. What would the word be? The second one, they were given lemon. Brian, the word? Melon. They were easy. The trick here was both of you were given the third word, which was the same. The third word was cinerama, which was American. Your first 2 words on this side of my classroom were not solvable. They were impossible tasks. I'm sorry. I know, but here's what we did this for. I was able to induce something called learned helplessness in the left side of the room very easily within about 5 minutes. I want you to think about what happened to you, this left side of the room, when you saw the right side of the room raising their hands because they already had the task done. What happened to you during that time? Jory?
Felt stupid.
You felt stupid? Okay.
I felt rushed.
Felt rushed? Joelle?
I was even more confused.
You're even more confused because they all got it and you were still struggling. Chelsea?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. What happened by the time you got to the third word? Because I'm here to tell you, this side of the room is not significantly more intelligent than this side of the room. That was a random assignment. So what happened to show the differences? Why did you have more of a difficult time with the third word, which was the exact same word? Brian?
My confidence was shot.
What you experienced was a term called learned helplessness. How many have heard of the term before? Let me see your hands. Learned helplessness is often used in the academic literature to mean what? Jory?
Basically, they fail once or can't do something one time, and then they apply that to everything in the future.
Then they'll apply that to everything in the future. If you don't think that's not what part of the PSYOP is, to make us give up, make us stop trying, make us stop decoding things, stop, you know, falling in line, all of that. Like every time you're looking at somebody's best day, every best moment of everyone's day, and meanwhile you got a flat tire and you got, you know, yeah.
This book here, Dark Psychology Manipulation, has a lot of experimental evidence of stuff like that that factors into demoralization.
Yes.
And there's more than just learned helplessness, of course, in this concept, but it's one of the key aspects that demoralizes populations, and done at mass can have some severe consequences.
Yeah. And they said they gave up, they felt, you know, conquered. So then by the time they got to the third question, even though they all had the same question, they couldn't unpack the third question because they felt they didn't trust themselves. They had already failed twice when other people were winning at the same thing. So, well, they're just always going to lose. It's always not going to work out for them. Why should I even try? And just go back to sleep, you know? And this is why I love doing these kind of shows, because I want people to start seeing the V-steg, seeing whatever steg it is that you're seeing, see the matrix that it is, and throw it off and say, you know.
Well, remember, the steganography is just a marker. It's a marker that pops up, and it pops up with consistency in key thematic ways that are similar to a through line that paints a picture of a specific type of groove or idea or thought pattern that whatever its inclusion is based around is attempting to get your mind to solidify there. So it doesn't go outside of those constraints, and it just accepts it for what it is. It shows up most around aspects of science and actual like factual science from the past, history, shows up in the medical field a lot, shows up also again in this mind control aspect. Five senses
that Chase Hughes talked about in that interview. He said that what they do to you can get pretty much anyone to do anything if you use this. I believe it's called FEAR, fear. And it was like, no, because there was a T in it, because part of it was tribal. But it was like confusing people, then getting them to agree to a new reality, or disassociating themselves with that thing, then accepting it as normal. And then I'll have to go back through and see that interview again.
This is all these steps are how a priest works on his congregation in religious aspects, right? Like I brought this book out too for people to know. This is The Battle for the Mind.
It's also how they get to admit to how they break them down for questioning or whatever, for like to admit to something that
that they didn't do,
heinous thing, you know.
How evangelists, psychiatrists, politicians, and medicine men can change your beliefs and behavior. It's the subtitle. People can understand this shit. There's even like, I've got textbooks on the sensory apparatuses of the little cones inside the eye, how the light responds to these things, how the sound responds to these things. There are aspects of the anatomy and the physiology that can be altered by way of frequency, and it's serious fucking shit. We would have come across this Pizzagate stuff a long time ago had it not been for this layer of it. And I hope everybody sees how important I argue that this is.
Well, everybody has to be on their journey and be personally responsible for themselves. That's where we talk about personal responsibility for your health, your wealth, you know, your personal safety, your and just everything around you. It's time. That's when we grow up. That's when we adult, is when we accept personal responsibility in that. So it's our choice to fall in the trap. As my husband says, like, think for yourself, don't fall in the trap. Believe yourself, believe in yourself. And that's where it's time for all of us to do that. So
yeah,
I love having these unpack it sessions.
It was a heavy week for these milestone markers. The timeline's unfolding in some key ways here that is denotated by the steg markers that we're pointing out. So I'll plan on updating you next week if we do a show like we plan on every week. But I should have that new Batman.
Next week will be Thanksgiving, and
I guess it'll be 2 weeks from now. You're right. I probably don't have any plans for Thanksgiving myself after this move, but
I'll find out what day we're doing. I think we might even be doing Thanksgiving on Wednesday, so we might.
So a couple weeks, then it'll be in December. Then in our next show, and I'll definitely have the Batman comic read. Pending whatever happens, if we just go into complete market meltdown in the next couple of weeks or what, I do want to pick apart the yellow jacket aspect of this, because I think it's important as part of what is playing out here. And then we'll go from there with what I find in the Batman Deadpool series and tying it back and doing all the correlation stuff I always do.
I have some other stuff, but I think I'll save it for tomorrow for happy hour. But there was some big stuff with banking. My friend spoke to Congress this week, testified in the financial committee. The lady that is the bank president, my bank president, and she created the Roger app and banks the military and all that. That was significant. And she talked about not wanting the government in community banks, and that they didn't need them. That was, trust was what they did.
Yeah.
So it's great. And then the Supreme Court decision, of course, giving Trump the green light to deport aliens. So, bye, aliens. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that was. It's
a big week.
A big week. Lots of implications. Lots of kayfabe to cover up what's necessarily needing to be covered up by it.
Do you think that's what the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing is? Is that kayfabe, that fighting with her and Trump?
I think so.
Into some things.
Because that's the way they do it in wrestling. You can be a what do they call it? Not a hero. The heel is the villain, and it's the heel and in wrestling terminology, the bad guy and the heroic, or the face. That's what they call it. The face.
The face or the heel.
The hero. The face or the heel. And that's like the hero or the villain. So she's become kind of the face for a certain part of MAGA, where Trump's like, is he going to become the heel? He's starting to have this rivalry, and it's definitely there. I mean, the who's the Jewish donor?
Which one?
The Jewish donor for Trump, the woman who what the fuck is her name?
I don't want to know.
Miriam Adelson. You know who she is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, maybe that'll be part of the next episode too. Look into Miriam Adelson. In the meantime, she has been touted as the person who won Trump the presidency both times with her donations to the campaign.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So she's a big part of the current tapestry narrative, whatever you want to call it, And what does she have to do with this?
But is that
Epstein?
more exposure? Just like Patrick Byrne, you know, coming out and saying like, yeah, they got me to bribe Hillary with, what was 15 million or something, or 5 million, and then 8 million. I can't remember the numbers, but and then they said, never mind, none of that happened. All this. So, you know, it's definitely a movie. Be careful what you.
So it's a movie for a reason. There is shit happening, but this movie shit, there's a reason why. If you want to know what's really happening in the news, you have to put this lens to it. It seems there's a whole side note with Dave Portnoy going on too that people should look into. He's entrenched with a lot of the Pizzagate symbolism this week. Also, again, his main podcast producer has quit the show of the Barstool Sports Show, and there's a key video that makes fun of him that came back on Twitter this morning, where it was banned for several months while it was under review, and the Twitter team unbanned it just today, also on the 20th.
I will also
the video is 2 minutes and 22 seconds in length. So again, there's a lot of your V-steg components. V is the 22nd letter. That's what the significance of that is, everyone. So anyway, there's just more that we could talk about.
I know so much.
Going to be a rife week of hopefully market collapse. I would like to see it. I would like to see the plug pulled and just get over with this step already and stop. It takes so much effort just to wait for it, you know? Yeah. It seems like, or not effort.
That's in a Q post as well. They promised in 2019, was it 2019? And they said, watch the next 6 years.
Yeah.
And so we're here. But that was, it's not, I know it feels like, oh, we're waiting, but we weren't waiting because we always knew we were going to have to go through 6 years.
Yeah.
Like we're there.
More or less.
You know, we still have to go through the spring and into July. So we'll see. We shall see.
Well, we'll be back in a couple weeks, everyone.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
I love this, Ben. Thanks for doing these with me. I love all the puzzles.
Of course.
All right. You guys take care. Thanks to everybody watching.
Love you, JB Rants. Hope you know that.
Just has a bad night every once in a while, but usually he apologizes and comes back. So we wish everyone the best, and I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend. I will see you tomorrow on Happy Hour with Westwood. So take care, guys.